Hello and welcome to Cupcakes and Crafts. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made these mini brushstroke cake pops. I used some chocolate cake crumbs and half the amount of cake crumbs I added in some vanilla buttercream. I also used plenty of parchment paper and put some on a baking tray, along with some paper lollipop sticks, a small leaded paintbrush, some food bags or piping bags and some cocktail sticks, plenty of white chocolate to melt and colour, and I used 3 gel colours and this gold lustre dust, which is more like a glitter than a dust. The first thing I did was prepare my cake pops, and to start with I just combined that buttercream and cake crumb together just using my hand, and when all the mixture was combined I took small amounts and rolled them into balls, and each one of my balls I weighed out at about 28 grams, and I just worked my way through all that cake crumb mixture. And once that were done, I put them into the fridge to set and chill. And then taking some of that white chocolate, I put it into a little container to melt and popped it into the microwave for 30 seconds. Took it out, give it a good stir, and back in for another 30 seconds, took it out and give it a good stir. And then placing some into a food bag or a piping bag, pushing it down into one corner. I'm going to take some parchment paper, snip a small amount off that food bag, and then just place on some tiny little dots with that white chocolate, just squeezing and releasing and squeezing and releasing. And I'm just going to work my way all down that side of that parchment paper. And working quite quickly, I'm just going to grab that paintbrush and drag that white chocolate back using the tip of the paintbrush, and just repeating that on all the little dots. You'll find that your brush strokes start drying very quickly, so I took some of that gold glitter lustre dust, sprinkled some over the top of each stroke, and then using that same paintbrush I actually embedded the gold glitter onto each one just by rubbing that paintbrush over it. I also made another column on the opposite side and then placed them into the fridge to set. Then taking some more of that white chocolate melted, I added in some yellow food colouring, gave it a good mix round, and then placed that into a food bag or a piping bag just as I did before. Again, snipping a small corner off the side of that piping bag or food bag, making some nice little dots again, and using that same paintbrush to drag that white chocolate back to create a brush stroke. Then popping them in the fridge to set, taking some white chocolate, this time colouring it pink, creating some little pink chocolate dots and pulling them back again to make some pink brush strokes. Once you're happy with how many pink brush strokes you've made, you can pop them into the fridge, and then melting down some more of that white chocolate, I'm going to colour it orange just as I did before, and repeating that entire process into the piping bag, making the little dots and pulling that chocolate back. Then these guys can go off into the fridge to set as well. To attach the lollipop sticks to the cake pop balls, we're just going to melt down some more white chocolate, placing the tip of a lollipop stick and push it into the centre of each cake pop ball. And then these guys can go into the fridge as well to set, and then it's time to put everything together. When you remove your coloured brush strokes from the fridge, you should just be able to peel each little brush stroke off that parchment paper. It does make it easier if you've got some of these brush strokes already popped off your parchment paper before we actually go ahead and cover the entire cake pop in white chocolate, which when I did, I made sure that white chocolate came all the way up to the lollipop stick, and then gently tapped my wrist to remove any excess white chocolate. And then just started at the very top near the lollipop stick, adding on them brush strokes, supporting them with my fingers where needs be until they're dry, because it will set quite quickly. Adding them on in no particular order. I made sure I had 2 gold brush strokes on each one of my cake pops because I just like that glitter. And continue to add them until I were happy. You can add as many or as little as you prefer, it's own personal preference. If you do find that your cake pops dried up quite quickly, you can always just put a little bit of that melted white chocolate onto one of your brush strokes, and that will just help attach them back onto your cake pop. And there you have it. mini brushstroke cake pops. Thank you very much for watching.